Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. It's the 10th of March, 2025, and we've had a brutal weekend. We've got a lot to get through today, and we're going to have a look at the markets. See you at $74,000. Is that where we're going to go today? We're going to have a look, and I'm going to show you some lines on a chart, which most of you will understand, some of you will not, and I will try and explain it to you as the best I can. We're going to try and cover a lot of news in today's show. We're going to go through what Michael Saylor has said. We're going to talk about Bitcoin adoption. We're going to talk about Solana. We also know it's a Monday, so we're going to look at the charts. We're going to look at the total three, look at the DXY, and of course, we are going to see what's coming up this week. And there's a few bits coming up this week which could affect the price. Good morning, KB. Good morning, Hidden Agendas, Cyberpunk, Danny, Velvet Rope, Mags. Welcome to you all. I'm not expecting many people today simply because I think not just the capitulation in crypto, but the capitulation in people's mental states is upon us. We are seeing the breakdown of people's belief that we are going to go any higher in this bull run. Now, if you notice, the camera is doing a lot of moving around. I've literally just updated the camera's firmware this morning, otherwise it wouldn't work. And now it's decided to track me like some kind of Terminator. So when you see it waving around, just ignore it. Now, before we go, the Oracle is streaming at 5 p.m. today. That's in 6 hours from now. So there will be a charts show at 6 p.m., 5 p.m., wherever you may be. Also, on Wednesday, we have our second giveaway night of the month. I know. 2 Wednesdays on the trot. It's like waiting for a bus. You wait for 4 weeks and then 2 come at once. This is the second one, which is the Quid Game. We are going to be talking about all of these small community projects, these NFT projects, and we're going to be talking about Wolf Swap. So we're going to talk about Papa Crow, Monkey Muscle, and Reaper's Squad. And not only are we going to be talking about them, there's going to be a quiz, and at the end, we are going to give away about 3 Monkey Muscle NFTs. We're going to give away some Papa and we're going to give away some Reaper tokens. Now, of course, fair warning, the market has dumped. So, of course, the giveaways are not going to be as much as they would have been a month ago. But bear in mind that the NFTs are still being minted. So they will, I imagine, hold some value now. But, of course, when the markets start to go up, we're going to see a lot more value added. So that's on Wednesday night. That's the second one of the trot. Now let's get back to the show. It's been red, and it's been a lot of red, and I'm going to go through some of the reasons why at the beginning. But as well as talking about Solana and Bitcoin, we are going to talk about SafeMoon, passkeys, and the fact that we're going to see IPOs. This is the next one for you guys to remember. We've had an anti-crypto establishment for 4 years. We've got a pro-crypto establishment. All of the whales, sorry, not the whales, all of the unicorns that you see, they're all going to start going for an IPO. For example, there will be some of the apps which currently allow you to trade crypto. They will be IPOing. I can't mention names for various reasons. Some of the exchanges in America, they will also IPO. So you're going to see IPO season next, okay? Initial public offering, basically when they issue their own shares. So there's going to be that coming up. And of course, XRP and Ripple, they are the big one. But there are more. So that we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then before all of that, we have some X-Files. So that's your show for the day. If you're in chat, say hello. Let me know how you are. Let me know if you're still here. I know everybody's in pain. I am watching streamers and they're holding back the tears. I mean, they really are. Simply red. Bitcoin coming in at 82,500. Again, we have some levels for Bitcoin we're going to cover. One of those is 82, one is 84, one is 88, and there are others below. 82.5. Ethereum went below $2,000. It's back up to $2,100. XRP broke the $2.50 mark. That's coming in at $2.20. BNB below $600. Solana's gone below the 132. I can never remember if I've said 132 or 126. But either way, it's below $130. Cardano below the 80 cents threshold. Again, why is Pi there? I don't understand it. It's a scam. It's an absolute scam. I can't understand why you have CoinMarketCap list certain coins, such as Pi, and not list other coins. You know, we're not going to mention names of those either. Chainlink coming in at $14, Hedera, and a few others making up. So again, I don't want to press this button. You don't want me to press this button. I'm going to press the button. The gainers then, Aave is up a touch, Mantle, Story, and Athena. And then as you can see, when you start to see the stable coins in the top 10 of gainers, you know you're in a red day. And this is the red day. Okay? Move is down. Casper, Jasmine, Maker, Celestia is down to $3. $3 for Celestia. Unbelievable. Near Protocol, breaking my heart at $2.60. Avalanche is down at $18.50. Again, I remember that was $30 not that long ago. Render is down. Trash Coin is down. Theta. Dupe is at 51 cents. Now, I got into Dupe when it launched. I was buying Dupe at 45 to 50 cents. And that was at the beginning. It's gone all the way up to, I think, $1.40, $1.50. It's back to 51 cents. There's more to that Dupe decline than just market sentiment. There's been the whole fallout to do with Libra. We had the fact that there was a connection between Jupiter and Meteora. There's a lot going on there. They're now having a bit of an argument about how the tokens are distributed. So it's not all fun and games at the minute in Jupiter, but I still think with the amount of money it's making and the buyback in place, it's going along with the market, but it is going to surpass the market in the longer term. I'm still holding my Dupe. I'm not going to sell that one. That's for sure. Right, let's get on with some tweets before we start the show. If you're feeling sad in chat, let me know, and I will try and cheer you up. Good morning, Solo Sky. Good morning, KB. And maybe we have a tweet that is missing. Always a good way to start the show. Oh, there we go. 120 million liquidated from the cryptocurrency market in the past 60 minutes. That was last night. Again, everybody is trying to long, thinking they've found the bottom. And they do it, and their timing is off. So a lot of it's like being a comedian. Being a comedian, telling jokes is about the timing of the joke, the punchline. Trading is the same thing. We all think that Bitcoin is going to go 120, 130, 140, 150. Some people think 200,000, okay? But that's not the issue. The issue is when that's going to happen. The same with where is the bottom. Now, we came down to 78,000 2 weeks ago. We've come down to 79.8 yesterday or the day before. Is that a higher low? Maybe. Did people think we'd hit 80,000 and bounce and come back up? We have done, but not before more people get liquidated. So it's timing. That's the key issue. That's the problem that people have. You know, you can be in a trade. Bitcoin could go to 98,000 tomorrow, but not selling your long and then watching it come all the way back down to 85,000. That's your problem. Not that you think it's going to go up or you think it's going to go down, but it's timing. That's the key. Why are the tweets not loading today? This is not a good start to a Monday, really. Oh, and we've got a storm as well. Just to add insult to injury, we have a storm. The tweets aren't loading, and we have a storm. Am I going to have to skip on past this one? Let's get the next one. It's just one of those days. If this tweet doesn't load, I'm likely to launch the laptop out of the window. Good morning, Tariq. I'm glad you're here. My tweets aren't loading. Let's go to Market Watch. If Market Watch doesn't work, then I really do not know what is going on. How weird. There must be an issue with Twitter. I'll go over the two tweets. Peter Schiff has got himself a Bitcoin address. Peter Schiff is the the gold maxi. He's got his shift gold, and he's got himself his own strategic reserve, a Bitcoin reserve, and he's going to build up his Bitcoin. It's capitulation in a positive way that the number one naysayer is starting to buy Bitcoin. Now then, this is Market Watch for this week. We're not going to cover off too much of this because it's not super important. Nothing today. Wednesday, we have CPI. Okay. Core CPI year on year. We're expecting 3% on Wednesday. What's the problem? Is if that's 3.1, if it's 3, we're not going to see a rate cut. We need it to come down. We need CPI to be 2.4, 2.5. It's not, it's still 3. And Chairman Powell and Donald Trump are going at each other head to head, and Trump is trying to break things to force an interest rate cut. We can't have QE without rate cuts. We've currently got QT, quantitative tightening. Interest rates have got to come down for the price of Bitcoin to go up. It is not the only reason, but it is one of them. We need to have QE. We need the money printer to be turned on for Bitcoin to go up. That's not the only reason, it's one of them. You see the thing? There are multiple factors that can push the price of Bitcoin down or up. So CPI is on Wednesday. That's going to be a big day. And when is Powell going to speak? We've got retail sales next week as well, but let's not talk about them now. Anyway, so big day on Wednesday. Wednesday is the day. And then the other thing that we have to worry about now is the good old DXY. The DXY, the strength of the dollar, has tanked. Well, it's tanked as much as the DXY can tank, because remember, it doesn't really tank. Now, I had my beautiful channel showing you where I wanted it to go. And we've broken out the channel. I mean, this is, if you want some bullish news, if you're sitting there and you're saying, you know what, Mike, I'm so sad. Bitcoin is crashing and I don't think we're going to have another bull run. What we're going to do, this is one of the things which I think we need to look for. And that is a breakdown of the DXY. I was worried here, which was only last week, that we were going to bounce here. And that would have been bearish on Bitcoin, because a stronger dollar makes it harder for Bitcoin to go up. So we've seen it absolutely. I mean, we've come down from 106, 107 to 103.5. Now, again, we do have some previous at this price point. Okay, not a lot, admittedly, not a lot, but we do have some previous. We could bounce from here and do this. But again, it's not the end of the world if we come back into this channel. Let me just drag that there. Okay. So if we do that and then Bitcoin recovers and it's back in here, it's still fine. Okay. That's not a problem. Again, a weaker dollar should be a good thing for Bitcoin. So we've got some positive news. If the CPI data comes in on Wednesday below 3%, more bullish news. Okay, I think there's a lot of people who are currently in a state of shock and disbelief that we're not at 125,000, and I get that. Okay, but the other thing that happens is we see 30% corrections in the market. If you take 30% off our all-time high, which I'm going to show you in a minute, it takes us down to 76,000. That is perfectly normal. A perfectly normal pullback. Now, I have said time and time again, I think maybe 20 or 25% pull downs is what we should expect now, because it's got a larger market cap. We've got ETFs buying. Maybe we're not going to see the 30% correction. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we are going to see the 30% correction. And if we are, 76,000, I think it's 76,000. We'll redraw it in a minute. That's where we should go to if we come down. Now, Bitcoin dominance. We're still in the range. We haven't broken down, okay? This has to break down for alt season. No breakdown, no alt season. Very simply, we're at 61.2% in March. We can go back and we can look at where we broke down in the last cycle. Where did we break down in the last cycle? We broke down here, which was in December. Then we broke down again in the end of March. Okay, so we had a wobble, we came back down, and then we broke between the 24th of March and then June, July, August. We're not there yet, are we? We are not there yet. So we don't have the breakdown. Again, if we go to $125,000 tomorrow, that could very well be the end of the bull run. But the end of the bull run, and nothing's changed my opinion, is November. So if November is the end of the bull run, and we have a 30% correction, or more than one 30% correction in a bull run, why is everybody so worried? We haven't broken down. The DXY has broken down, so that's going to soften, which is a good thing. We want CPI to come in under 3% on Wednesday. If it doesn't, we carry on for another month. Now, this is the total market cap of crypto. Let's throw another line in there to show you where we are. There. Okay, now we have broken below this March 2024. So we are below where we were. We're at 2.66 trillion. We're under, and we're a long way off where we got to. We are currently $1 trillion lower. That's a massive amount of money, okay? Now, the problem that I see at this moment in time is not how further down we go, okay? We could, for example, before we move on, we could come to around here, 2.45, maybe even 2.27, okay? We could come to one of those lines, or we could bounce. But we haven't fully come all the way down and retraced to this level, which would be another 5% lower. Another 5% down could be where we bottom. And maybe we kind of come down here and then we move back up. But this move probably isn't over yet. It might be, but there's still a little bit more to go. And then you have to say to yourself, how much further down can we go and how much further up can we go from here? Well, if we go to 110,000, that's possibly a 25,000, 30,000 move up. If we go to 74, 76,000 from here, that's only a 7,000 move down. So we are further towards the end of the downward correction than we are. We don't have a lot further to go. Right, this is the market cap of crypto, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as you can see, again, similar situation. We are touching March 2024. So we've had a whole round trip. It's like Phileas Fogg, this. We've done this, we've done this, and we've done this. Okay? A whole round trip. Okay? We're back in Plymouth. Under the support band again, similar to Total 3 or Total 1, whichever one it's called. It's not the end of the world. We have not seen the end of this bull run. Very simply put. Now, we're going to look at the Bitcoin chart in a minute after we've looked at some gossip from Michael Saylor. That's what we're going to look at next. Very quickly, let me look at the chats. Good morning. This laptop, it's going out the window. Look, watch this. See that? I don't like tracking. It makes it look like I'm on a skateboard. It looks ridiculous, okay? The colours have all changed, but it was either this or no me. And we all know you want to look at this beautiful face on a Monday morning. Nothing shouts Monday morning more than my face. And that's on a Friday afternoon. My face still shouts Monday morning on a Friday afternoon. There's an ongoing Jupiter voting. Kind of check it out. Absolutely. Solo Sky, I covered that on Friday. There is another dupe vote. This will be the second one as far as I'm aware. Every vote that you cast gives you more staking rewards. So if there are 10 votes, you get 100%. If there are 10 votes and you vote 5 times, you only get about 50% of your staking rewards. All you've got to do, go to vote.dupe.ag, tick yes, no, or whatever the options are, and vote. The first one was a stupid one about changing the logo. Thankfully, it hasn't changed. Who said that? Who said what about me looking like a Monday morning? I look like a Monday morning. I always look like a Monday morning. Right, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can read it. Michael Saylor reveals the US government Bitcoin purchasing plan. Again, I'll go on to my thoughts on Bitcoin in a minute. He suggested the US could leverage Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation, debt crises, and geopolitical instability. So the co-founder, it's not called MicroStrategy anymore. Who wrote this? Mark, you're an idiot. It's called Strategy B. Everybody knows that. He has urged the government to adopt a more aggressive Bitcoin accumulation strategy. Of course he would, because he owns, or his company owns, hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. Rather than passively managing forfeited assets, the US should actively acquire Bitcoin through structured investments. Bitcoin's scarcity, security, and global demand make it a strategic asset akin to gold. Now, want to point something out about this. Either this has been misinterpreted, or Mark has written a wrong piece here. They are not passively accumulating Bitcoin, and this is a trick that people seem to have completely missed. Okay, he was talking about cost neutral ways to buy Bitcoin. Cost neutral. So what does he mean by that? If the American government has $50 billion worth of old equipment that it doesn't want anymore, and it sells them for $50 billion, and Donald Trump takes that $50 billion and buys Bitcoin with it, that is a cost neutral way of buying Bitcoin, because it hasn't cost them anything. The point of Doge is to slash waste in government departments, fine, but he doesn't want to go out and to be seen as spending all this money. So it's about optics. Trump doesn't want to be accused of wasting money on anything. But if he sells the equipment for $50 billion and buys $5 billion of Bitcoin with it and spends $45 billion on healthcare or bridges or schools, whatever it might be, he can turn around and say, I've spent $50 billion on the country and it hasn't cost us anything because I sold assets to get the money to do that. So passive is not the word to use here. Okay, cost neutral. It doesn't cost him anything. It's really simple, and so many people have missed it. When he said he was going to transfer the 200,000 or 192,000 Bitcoin into the strategic reserve, that was the deposit. There are many other ways. The crypto tax that I mentioned a week ago is a tiny fraction of every transaction of every crypto trade in America gets converted into Bitcoin and sent to the strategic reserve. They do it in Europe. They have I don't know what it's called now, but basically it's a transaction tax you pay on every transaction you carry out in Europe. And it's a fraction, it's like $1 or it's like €1 or half a euro, whatever it might be. But it adds up to be an awful lot of money. That's what he's doing. The political climate surrounding Bitcoin remains complex. Former President Donald Trump's recent executive order. But former President Donald Trump's he's not former, he's the current. Current President Trump's recent executive order to establish the Bitcoin Reserve, growing recognition of its significance. Again, the one thing I also said last week was that he has put validity into crypto. Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, ADA, and XRP have all been talked about with Donald Trump. Why is the chart like this? Okay, let's move that down here. So he's added validity to the market. Okay. This is the CME futures gap. Okay, right. This is something I wanted to point out. We have now got a CME gap at 78,000. Okay, hasn't been filled. We also have one up here, which is at 80. I think it's actually 87,000. What's a CME gap? It's when the price closes on Friday at, say, 60,000, and if the price opens on Monday at 70,000, that's a CME gap of 60 to 70,000. That's a $10,000 CME gap. And what tends to happen is Bitcoin will see a gap there, and it will play around up here, and then every once in a while it will wick to the bottom and then carry on. Okay, that's what a CME gap is, and they work in the opposite direction again. So we have these two gaps here. A lot of people don't pay any attention to CME gaps, but they fill 99% of the time. Okay, we also have a CME gap at about $3,000, by the way. I don't think we're going to go there. So we've got two CME gaps, 87, 85 to 87, and 78,000. I think we may fill the 78,000. We may not, and we may go and fill the $87,000 CME gap. Now, let's have a look at the Bitcoin price. So what I was saying before was, and I tried to do this off camera, so you'll have to bear with me while I try and do this, okay? Because it never works for me. It never, ever works. There we go. Perfect. Look at that. Right. If I take you down 30%, that takes us to $76,000, okay? From all-time highs, 30% down is 76,000. We have a CME gap at 78,000, and we also have at 74,000 the 2024 high. So 74, 76, and 78, we've got three levels there that we could come to, okay? Now we're at 82,000, so I'm not talking about us going to 40,000. I'm saying there are areas we can go to down there. There's also this, which is that we've currently put in what appears to be a higher low if we don't come down any further. So the charts are really, really mixed. Now, there's a few other things to bear in mind. We could very well come up to around about 89,000. We could go to 89,000 and people think that we are in the clear. No, we are not. We are below the bull market support band. There is a lot of, if we start to move these lines around here, if we draw a line like this, okay, you will see that we could go all the way up to about 92,000 and still be in this downtrend. So we could go here, and tomorrow, every one of you say, we're so back. Tariq's cancelled the cancellation of his Tesla order. Kishan has ordered a 7-story cake for himself. No, we are not out of the woods. It's recency bias, because we could do this, and we could just do this, and we could just do this. And then we could come down to the level here, which we think we're going to go to, potentially 74,000, which is the 2024 high, and then we bounce. Again, these are all possibilities. At the minute, we've put in a lower high, a higher low. The DXY has broken down. These are positives, okay? But we are not in the greatest place, because we have Bitcoin below the bull market support band. We have CPI data coming in on Wednesday, which could be hot. It could be 3.1 or 3.2. And if it is, if we come in, we're going to go further down. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I say this all the time. But I am not saying the bull run is over. I am saying that this is a 30% correction. As we have pointed out many, many times in the past, Bitcoin comes down and then goes back up. There are soothsayers out there that claim to have a crystal ball that will tell you that we're going to go to 65,000 and then we're going to go to 180,000. Okay, they are clickbaiters because they want the clicks. If I made a video saying Bitcoin to 50,000 or Bitcoin to 250,000, the 250,000 video would get a lot more views than the 50,000, but both of them would get more views than if I said Bitcoin will go to 85,000 by the end of March, because nobody cares about reality. Everybody cares about how much they're either going to be rich or how scared they're going to be. And nobody looks at reality because reality is boring. Reality is Donald Trump signed the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve document on Thursday and then met with all of the people who he thinks are going to shape the future of American crypto industry. He did that on Friday. What did we do? We dumped. Why? Because Donald Trump didn't come out and say he's buying 100,000 Bitcoin a week. So it dumped because expectation versus reality. My reality is we've had the first ever crypto summit. We've got a pro-crypto administration. We have all of the people, apart from maybe Charles, around the table to learn about what the American government want from them. It's all massively bullish news. But the macro is not good. The S&P, Nvidia is very likely to go down again. Inflation could go up. Interest rates are not coming down. So as much as I want to be massively optimistic, I have to be realistic. And that is, until we have quantitative easing, until interest rates start to come down, we are pretty much stuck. And, you know, even if we get ETF approvals on Solana, even if we get ETF approvals on some of the coins, it's not going to drag the entire market up. We need the macro to change. And Wednesday is the next most important day in history of crypto. The CPI comes in. If it's under 3%, I will be delighted. But I've got a funny feeling it's going to come in at 3.1, and I think it's going to nuke us, and that could be the capitulation. I think if we're above 3%, we're going to go into the 70s. And then the issue isn't so much how far we go down, it's how fast is the economy going to recover for Bitcoin to be able to go on to all-time high. I think people are talking about a recession. Everyone's been talking about a recession for the last 2 years, okay? There's a recession coming, and so far we've held it off. But maybe we do get hit by a recession. And Bitcoin going to all-time highs in a recession, I can't see that happening either. But we've got a lot of water to go under the bridge. Now then, some bullish news to cheer some of you up on a Monday morning. It's not my face to cheer you up. A few good mornings. Good morning, Jan. Alpha, good morning. Where's Kishan? I don't know where he is. I think he's been busy the last few weeks. He's been on. We've seen him on the stream, but I don't know where he is. 4% of the world's population holds Bitcoin in a 2025 report. Despite the growing popularity of Bitcoin, the number of individuals who own it worldwide is minuscule, leaving plenty of room for growth. Again, is that 4% of working adults? Or is that 4% of the world's population, including 2-year-olds and 1-year-olds and 95-year-olds? Because again, data like this is trash. Statistics like this are trash. It should be 4% of the world's working population, maybe, would be a better title. 4% of the global population. The US has the highest at 14%. I don't agree with that either. I think that's wrong. I think if you look at some countries where inflation has been rampant, like Turkey, I think more than 14% of some of those countries will be holding Bitcoin. I think there's a lot more people in India that hold Bitcoin than they do. I think there's a lot more people than that. Some of these reports, I don't agree with the data that comes out. A Bitcoin financial reserves company, North America remains the continent with the highest adoption rate. Of course they're going to say that. It's not true, though. Bitcoin adoption tended to be higher in more developed regions than in developing regions. That's also false. I don't agree with that either. Bitcoin has only achieved 3% of its maximum adoption potential. Now, I do agree with that. And again, the one thing I would say about these adoption curves is I don't think Bitcoin fits into some of these adoption curves. And the reason is the internet took so long because we didn't have the hardware in place. People needed a computer and a modem to get on the internet. It took years and years and years. You know, I said this before. I had a 64K modem and I had a 28.8K modem. I don't remember if I had a 14.4K modem. So a 14.4K modem. Think about that. It took an eternity to get the internet into the majority of the Western world. It took years and years and years. And even though at university in 1994, yes, there was the internet. Okay, that was before Google existed, before lots of places existed. But it took probably, I would say, until 2002. No, I'd say until about 2000, from about 1990s-ish, before companies started getting internet teams to build websites. And then it took another couple of years. I started my first internet business in 2002. And even then, people were saying the internet is never going to work. The echoes through time. It's not going to work. It's a scam. It's not real money. You're going to lose everything. Nobody's going to use it. Does that ring any bells? Because I distinctly remember several conversations with people in 2002 and 2003 where they told me exactly the same thing that people are trying to tell me today. And that was 22 years ago. And they're saying the same thing. So Bitcoin adoption, I think we are further along this curve than they are trying to say. Easily further along this curve than they're trying to say. I think we're going to see adoption where it would have taken maybe 5 or 6 years for Bitcoin to be adopted a couple of years ago. I would say because of the American government we've got now, I could see it happening in the next 3 years. Certainly by the next bull run, which is 4 years away. So I think we're going to see the nowhere then everywhere all at once happen now. The next, Donald Trump's term is going to be the term where crypto is adopted. Not just in America, because other countries are going to follow suit. If you were a bank in the UK or Europe, and your American counterparts are selling Bitcoin products offering 8 to 10%, or crypto products offering 15 or 12%, and you're sitting there offering 0.5%, you're going to think, we need to get in on this action, and then maybe pay 8 or 9% out. That's what's going to happen. So I think the adoption is happening faster than people realize. We don't need to run any more about that. North America, 10%. Again, I don't agree with this at all. I just don't think it's true. Africa, 1.6%. Absolutely not. Definitely not. I've seen video upon video from Africa where people have been using crypto on a daily basis to trade. I think the figures are wrong. I think what happens is when you're from North America and you conduct a survey out of North America is going to come out top. I think if this study was done fairly and across the board, I think you'd find these numbers were totally different. And I don't think there is anything stopping mass adoption other than familiarity. It's all well and good saying people don't see it as a real asset. People call it magic internet money. People call it lots of these other things. At the end of the day, the more people hear about Bitcoin, the more they're going to look into it, the more they're going to see what the asset does, and the more they're going to buy into it. And it just takes time. It's all well and good saying it's a Ponzi scheme. People who say it's a Ponzi scheme, especially Bitcoin, forget the rest of the market. People who say Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme don't understand Bitcoin. That's simple. You don't have to insult these people. You don't have to mock them. They don't understand Bitcoin. Now, you could say that about Solana as a Ponzi scheme. You could say that about meme coins. You could say that about some AI tokens or lots of AI tokens. You could say it about anything. But when it comes down to brass tacks, Bitcoin is the only asset that isn't a Ponzi scheme. Fixed supply, decentralized, massive network, institutional adoption, government adoption, owned by nation states like Bhutan and El Salvador. It's not a Ponzi scheme. and people can just, it's like being called, and there's names I can't say on here, it's like being called a fascist or a communist. It's easy to tag somebody with a word, but it doesn't mean they are. Solana is down 25% in 2025 despite liquidity surge. I'm talking of Ponzi schemes, I'm joking. Despite being one of the 3 altcoins to be included in the President Trump's digital asset stockpile, Solana continues its price decline. Again, I think the fallout from the meme coins that we've seen isn't helping Solana, but I do think that it's not the end of the road for Solana. I think it's suffering like everything else. Ethereum went below $2,000. That's been hit. You look at BNB, that was at $700. That's at $585 now, or $565 now. That's come down a fair old bit. So it's not just Solana. So again, one thing to bear in mind when you read some of these articles is take it all into the context of the market. Is crypto going through a downtrend? Yes. Is the stock market in America going through a downtrend? Yes. Is inflation high? Yes. Is quantitative tightening high? Yes. So all of those things create confluence around what's going on. If the stock market was going to all-time highs, we had 1% interest rates, there was money printing left, right and centre, and the DXY was at 99 or 100. And Solana was down 29%. That's a whole different ballgame to what we're experiencing now. We are seeing a correction. We're also seeing shocks to the market for Trump's threats on the likes of the tariffs. Okay, so don't read things on their own. Take everything into account. Why is the market down today? You see lots of people publish articles about that. We are down at $127. We did have our brief wick up, but we are down. We are we are seeing the memes die on Solana. Okay, not the old memes, not the OG memes, but the meme culture of printing more and more coins every day on Solana. It's dying. Okay, the pump.fun is dying. We've not heard really of a massive scam for about 3-4 weeks now since Libra. In fact, Libra, I think, was a shock to the system for everybody because nobody expected that apart from the people committing the acts. And that happened in the space of 9 hours. And since then, I think Solana's been in a state of shock. And I think the likes of Jupiter, Meteora, Orca and Radium have sat down and said, we can't let this happen because this is the... Gary Gensler was right when he said it's the wild, wild west. He wasn't talking about Bitcoin. He was talking about crypto. Solana has got more and more uncouth as the months have gone by, and it had to come to a stop. Okay, now it's fallen over and it's cut its knees, and now it's running back and it's suffering. And again, this has been a reversal and a trend. Money's been flowing into Solana for months, if not years, and now we've seen the other side of it. Now, some of this money flowing out to Ethereum and BNB could be from the profits taken from some of these meme coins, certainly. But I think it's been damaged a little bit by what's gone on. Have I got the chart for this? I have got the chart for it. So I think Solana is just having a period of downward consolidation. Let's just call it that. Because I think we are, I think I actually said, must have said, have I got my line at $126? I've taken my line off. Okay, so let's drag this down here. If you follow this line down here, you will see that we are at this right now. This is our line. It wasn't $132, like I said. It was $126 or where are we now? $126. So we are at massive, massive support. Look at that. Massive, massive support. If this gives way, by the way, we are not done going down. We could come all the way back to, maybe not that far down there. I think I said something like $100 or $90. But again, I'm not sure that we're going to see much further down as that. I think I said on Thursday, I think I said on Wednesday or Friday last week, 110 to 120 would be a sweet spot to buy Solana. I think that's what I said. We're at 127. We might have a short-term bounce, but until we get back above $188, we are in a bearish place for Solana. And again, these are the times you should be looking to accumulate. Okay? These are the times you should be looking to accumulate, not the time to worry. Okay? If we are sitting here in October and we're at $127 and it's not looking good, fine. Capitulate, get out, fine. We've got the rest of Q1, Q2, Q3, and then going into Q4. That's what we've got left. A long, long, long time. And again, things can change on a dime. I managed to close the window down. Right, there we go. A Cardano founder explains absence from White House Crypto Summit. There he is. There's the man. Look at that shirt. Look at that face. I mean, if I'm Monday morning, okay, he is Sunday night. That's all I'm going to say. I may very well be a Monday morning. Bleary-eyed, baggy, old, grey. But, I mean, he's a Sunday night. I mean, he is, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. That's what his face says to me. He is Mr. Don't let me go to work tomorrow. I am Mr. Monday morning. That's how I would compare us. So why wasn't he invited? He clarified that his focus remains on advancing the growth and decentralization of Cardano rather than seeking government recognition. He expressed his gratitude for the support of the Cardano community, emphasized that criticizing government officials online wouldn't lead to meaningful change. Instead, he encouraged the community to concentrate on the development of the Cardano network. Now, again, number one, Charles hasn't been sidelined. Absolutely not. He's probably likely going to be working on some kind of project that does involve the American government. It's been said that Hedera and Cardano are going to be involved. Okay, that's the rumor mill. Charles has been meeting with Elon Musk. Charles has been meeting with Donald Trump. Elon Musk is obviously the tech guy. With Elon, Donald Trump will let Elon take the lead on things like this. But Charles is a techie. You know, he is not aimed at, you know, there's no tax dollars in Charles. Okay, there is no huge tax income from the Cardano blockchain. If it's being used to, for example, if it's going to be used for the 2028 US election, there's no money really in that for Donald. So he's got all the people that are going to make him money around a table and said, go and make me money, but do it fairly and do it openly and do it honestly. Okay. Cardano isn't going to make the American government any tax dollars. What it's going to do is probably save them money, and also it's going to make it more transparent, which people, you know, the lies, fake, stolen, all these words are used about elections, and you just look at how elections are run. You get people to count pieces of paper. It's 2025, and we're using the same system that's been in place in the UK for hundreds of years. X in this box, X in that box, X in this box. It doesn't make any sense. But you can't put it onto a voting system because the voting systems are made very, very complicated in America, and it's open to fraud. If they're hacked, it's ruined the vote. So the only way to do it immutably is through a blockchain, and every vote is on the blockchain. That is the only way you can do it. And you can't use a government blockchain. You have to use a public blockchain. And which one would you use? Would you use Ethereum? Would you use a layer 2? You can't use Bitcoin, really. It's not the point of it. So what you're left with, Cardano, maybe, is the biggest one. You wouldn't use Solana. That's a fact. You wouldn't use Solana for something like this. So Cardano's positioned itself to be a really good tool for the American government. He shared his plans to return to Japan, a country closely linked to Cardano early adoption, and to further engage with the global community in a bid to contribute to the ecosystem's ongoing growth. I don't think that's the last we've heard of Charles and the American government. I don't believe that for 1 second. But we do need to see some bullish news about this, because otherwise we're going to see that Cardano pump fade. And my $3 to $5 target is going to go in the bin. So although much as we don't want to be reliant on governments to pump your bags, we want adoption. Remember, interoperability, regulation, and adoption. We want these blockchains to be adopted, not just by people holding the coins, but real world use. And there isn't a bigger real world use, really, than the American election. It's 350 million people, of which, 85 million vote? Anyway, interesting fact, by the way. I'm going off on a bit of a tangent now, but there we go. What's it? 11. We got plenty. We haven't got plenty of time. We've got a bit of time. The largest Democrat states in America are losing people hand over fist, and they're moving out. So this is a long story, but and it's not very interesting, I suppose. But I'm going to tell you anyway. In America, you get seats based on your population. And California's been a stronghold for the Democrats for I don't know how many, 20, 30 years. Everyone's leaving. All the people with money are leaving because it's so expensive, because they're a Democrat party, which is a socialist party, which taxes you really high to provide what's supposed to be a high level of service, but it's not. As we've seen levels of corruption, we've seen levels of problems. So they're leaving and they're moving to Republican states, which have lower taxes, therefore you could argue some lower levels of services, certainly, but these states that are Democrat strongholds in the next election are going to have fewer seats. So even if the Democrats win California, and I can't remember, is it Iowa, places like that, even if they win those states, they're going to have 8 less seats than the Republicans. And so what would happen is you'd have a 16 seat swing. So instead of being 100 and 100, you'd have 94 and 106, or 92 and 108. So it makes a massive difference. And they can't do anything about it because their taxation is through the roof. Everything is taxed. And you've got laws on minimum wage because it's a socialist state, and it's going to break their heartland. And I'm not saying it's a good thing. For a democracy to work, you need 2 parties, absolutely, and you need 2 people to lead those parties, and it should be a choice. And this last election wasn't a choice. This last election was probably more of a protest vote in Trump's favour. We had that in the UK, by the way, when Boris Johnson won the last election, or the election he won. It was a protest vote. He won places in the north of England that he wouldn't normally have won, but he did. And then he ruined everything. But that's not the point. Crypto exchange Gemini quietly files for an IPO with Goldman Sachs and Citigroup. So you're going to see this. This is going to be the next narrative now. All these companies, the likes of Gemini, I don't know if it's Robinhood, somebody like that, at least 1, if not 2 crypto exchanges in America are going to file for an IPO. Now, again, this is bullish for crypto, because it's going to be all over the news. Gemini, X exchange, Y exchange, Z exchange are filing for IPOs. So all people are going to hear for the next 2 years is crypto, 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 crypto. Now, Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss were also massive contributors to Trump's campaign. And again, let's not beat around the bush here. Trump took a lot of money from crypto to win this election. He probably didn't need to. He's going to win it by a landslide anyway, but he did, okay? And maybe it won him an extra 1 million votes, okay? So it did help him in some way. But mark my words, this is payback, okay? The crypto summit was payback. The strategic reserve was payback. And we're not talking a little bit of money. I think there was $100 to $200 million was paid to Trump from crypto. And he had a way lower budget, by the way, than Kamala Harris. But he was always going to win because she shouldn't have been the nominee, or she shouldn't have been the person put forward. So Gemini are going to get an IPO. It's a little bit like, you see you get an IPO, I get an IPO, we all get IPOs. That's what's going to happen. The SEC have got a new head, which makes it a more positive environment. And again, this is a narrative. So expect to see this from now on. This is the first real one, but we know about others, okay? And I can't mention names because they are the names of other exchanges. And I'm not going to say their names while streaming on an exchange as well as streaming where we are now. So that's good news for crypto again. And then finally, I think we've got some time. Have we not? US Robotics. US Robotics made the best modems. The best modems. They had, was it a 64K modem? Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing, those modems. Right, this is the last article, I think. What, we at 11:55, right, okay. There is another article about passkeys. I'll do that tomorrow. SafeMoon faces post-migration challenges as sellers take over. For those of you that don't know, SafeMoon was a scam. What happened was the founders were telling the community that the coins were locked, and they weren't. The founders were selling the real tokens on exchanges while showing them that the tokens were locked, but they never were. So it was a massive, massive scam. And they've moved from BNB chain to Solana. And I would wait for the selling pressure to end. Now, SafeMoon had hype. It had everything it needed to be a success. It even had a YouTuber, really cool guy, I spoke to him a couple of times, a YouTuber who would dress as Batman to talk about SafeMoon. He'd come on in the full Batman outfit, okay? Now, listen very carefully. I am never going to dress up as Donald Trump or anybody else for you on this stream. The closest you're going to get is me wearing a mask at Halloween or wearing a mask for Quid Games, okay? Let's get that clear. But he will dress up as Batman and talk about SafeMoon. Obviously, SafeMoon then was caught out as being a scam. It went to zero. And then now it's kind of like, I don't know if they've gone to prison, but it's been handed over to the community. But the price will drop. Okay. So again, if you were in SafeMoon when this happened, obviously you know what's gone on. If you're not and you're new to it, this is an old project that got scammed, and it's making a comeback on Solana. And again, that's not a bad move. But remember, you can have poor market conditions and launch. And in fact, I personally tweeted about this last night and said that due to market conditions, the stream on Wednesday will still go ahead. And that was a bit of a play or a bit of a poke, a fun poke at Lion. Lion was a token that was launching a couple of weeks ago, and they came out 5 hours before it was going to launch and said, due to market conditions, we're going to delay. Then Donald Trump tweets about crypto, the prices go up, and then they launch the following day, okay? Mickey Mouse strategy. There is never going to be the right or the wrong time to launch your token. You launch it. And if it's got real people supporting it, it doesn't matter about the price when it launches, okay? The optics of you launching in a bear market are the price has gone down, well, so has everything else, okay? So it's nonsense. Now, on Wednesday, when we give away these tokens, of course, the tokens are going to be lower than they were when we had them because the market's crashed, okay? You got to bear that in mind. I sent my Phantom wallet to you and I'm waiting. I won the game. Yes, you did. I haven't forgotten. No, I haven't forgotten at all. Look at that camera tracking. Yes, I'm going to send that to you. Don't worry about that. I was waiting. I did say on Friday, could the people who won contact me? And nobody has. Now, there is a cutoff. And obviously, you sent me your stuff on Sunday, so you're going to get it. This Quid game on Wednesday, if you win, you have got until the following Sunday to send me your wallet address. If you don't, that's it. The prize rolls over. And the reason that we do that is I don't want to have people from 3 months ago saying, I won this token. Because the chances are I'll have given it away on another stream. We've done this before with Mu tokens. Somebody didn't claim it, so we gave it away on a Chronos night. Tariq won. I don't know who else won. Okay, but the deadline was Sunday night. Today is Monday. So if you did win last week and you haven't claimed it or sent me the wallet, even though I asked on Friday, then that's going to roll over to the next Mu night. This night is Wednesday at 7 p.m. That's 7 hours from now. Okay, so I think it's nearly midday, almost midday. 7 hours from now on Wednesday. Yeah, you were. You were really sick. I hope you're better. If you are sick, then maybe we can make a what's the word? A thing for you. But you did. You told me on Sunday that you'd won. You're fine. Don't worry. You've won. But this Wednesday, 7 hours from now, you will be able to win. Now, we're giving away tokens and we're going to give away NFTs. Now, we might, because of the market conditions, we might change what we give away and we might start giving away NFTs, okay? Because we haven't seen an alt season. So Mew, Moon, Papa, Reaper, Sol, everything's down, okay? So if we send you something which should have been $30 and it's now worth $20 or $15, everything else is down. Had you sold that coin and bought Solana, you'd be down 59%. Had you sold it and bought Ethereum, you'd be down 30, 40, 50%. So the market trend is down. So when you win, the only way to hold the wealth is to sell it for USDC. It's the only way you're going to win at this moment in time until we get a market reversal. So if you do win, the monkey muscle will be NFTs. They were going to give you 3 NFTs. The Reaper squad will be Reaper token and Papa will be Papa token. Okay, that's your prizes. So you've got 3 NFTs, 1 Reaper and 1 Papa. You've got 5 prizes on Wednesday. Now, again, I haven't looked at what the price, I haven't looked at what the values of those tokens are, but I do know that these NFTs are cool. They're big gorillas. I don't know why it's called monkey. They're gorillas. Should be called gorilla gains or something like that. Anyway, that's enough waffling from me. It is 12:02. Thank you to Tariq, Mags, Solo Sky, KB, Jan is here. Everybody else that's been here. I wasn't expecting anybody to turn up today, to be honest, given how the market is. But remember, this is where you DCA in, okay? I'll take you back to last year when we capitulated to $49,000 and everybody, well, not everybody, the majority of people were massively, massively bearish. And we recovered really quickly. I don't believe that this is the end of the bull run. We probably still have 200 days left, maybe around that time. That takes us to October, November. We are going to make it. Just relax, enjoy the ride, look back. These are going to be A, character building, and B, you're going to look back and say, do you remember that time we went to 49,000? Do you remember that time we were at 25,000? Everyone said we were going to go to 10,000. Do you remember that time Gareth Soloway started shorting the market and it just kept going up and up and up? These are all little funny stories you can talk about with other crypto people that you meet in the future. And this happens to be one of them. Do you remember in the greatest bull run of all time, we went down to 69,000 and Mike came on dressed as Donald Trump? These things happen, okay? So the Oracle will stream in 5 hours. So he's streaming later on. I don't know if KB is going to be on there. But thank you, Jan. Thank you, Mags. Thank you, everybody. I will see you in the morning.